starting in 30 seconds, guys. And that'll do, and that will do. And welcome to the webinar for the 27th of October. And it's great to see everyone. And if you're watching on recording, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this recording. And there's many of you that do. Hundreds of business owners watch this on recording afterwards. But what you do miss, though, is the live opportunity to get an audit, a website review from myself and Henry or whoever is joining me on the webinar. And today we are going to do a couple of website audits. So if you'd like me to check your website as we go through this webinar, because we are talking about your website today, and I've got some critical advice that I want to give you today on this webinar. So it's all about your website hero section and certain elements on your homepage that you need to look at and you need to implement. So if you'd like me to look at your website and your homepage today on this webinar, just drop the URL into the chat. Of course, a lot of you don't like doing that because it means I'm going to be critical. But if you want to be daring today and let me go loose on your homepage, just pop the URL into the chat. But let's get started because, like I say, there's lots of people that watch this on recording. So here's Henry. I don't know which side you're on, Henry, to me, but hello, Henry.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Nice to be on the webinar again. There's a few familiar names here, lots of new ones.
Good.
I'm going to be on mute. I've got a bit of a cold, so I don't want to be coughing through the webinar. So I'll be on mute, but I will be in the question box.
That's right. So Henry will be muted, but he's in the chat box, and he's Henry. What I'd like to do is put a little poll up so you can get started on that. I don't know if you can add a new poll. I think you can. I just want to ask a few of you what time is best for these webinars, because we've been doing this a few weeks now. Let me know what time what time it suits you in terms of morning, afternoon. Henry will put a few times up in the poll, and we'll let everyone answer that, because we want to make sure that we're doing this at the right time for everyone on the right day. Maybe if everyone wants to put a day in as well, if you want to just shout out in the chat, is Wednesday the best day for webinars? So we're going to be making those decisions soon, but this is an important one today. It's a big webinar, and looking at how you can increase sales and bookings from your website. So the things that I'm going to show you and talk to you about will increase sales and bookings. So Henry, if you can't see this, just shout it out, but I'll carry on thinking that you can see everything's okay. So first and foremost, I just want to say, if you do have any issues or any concerns about your website or your homepage, for example, that we're going to talk about in a minute, and just reach out to us. And you can reach out to us on our website, and there's a webinar page on our website, or you've got the phone number there as well. So please don't hesitate to reach out to us if you need any support. And we have been doing this since 1999. So I'd like to think we know what we're doing, and the advice that we're giving you is trusted. It's obviously we check a lot of this with Google and Microsoft. They're fully behind us. We're backed by those two search engines. In fact, we're the only company in Yorkshire to have a Google Premier partnership and a Microsoft Elite partnership. It's the two highest partnerships you can get with search engines. InfoServe has come a long, long way over these years, and we've adapted and changed each year, basically. I mean, in the last 2 or 3 years alone, I'd say this company has just evolved completely into a new direction, an even better direction. We're doing fantastically well. I would say that our web design is absolutely as good as it gets now. We've got some of the best designers, I think, in the United Kingdom. My boss will laugh at that, but I do think we do have some of the best designers in the country. And so when it comes to website design, we're at the top of the league here. So our reviews reflect that. So please don't hesitate to leave a review on Trustpilot. Trustpilot's the place. So all you need to do is go to Google and search InfoServe Trustpilot. Just type those 2 words into Google, and you'll find our Trustpilot link at the top there. So please do leave us a review. We really do appreciate it. I mean, we said this a lot last year, and it just makes us just as big an impact to us now. But I don't want to overplay this. If you leave a review, we will absolutely love it, and the team love it as well. You know, as you can imagine, we share that amongst the team. When someone leaves a review, we let everyone know, and there's, you know, it gives everyone a bit of a buzz. So we would really appreciate any reviews that you can leave. But today we're going to help you again even more. And like I said, I think we're at the top of the league when it comes to website design. I think we're one of the best. We've got ideas, we've got technology. In our own websites, we incorporate SEO, conversion rate optimization, and world-class design. And not only that, but we can help you with branding as well, brand messaging. And that's what I want to help you with today is the design element, the conversion rate optimization, and the brand messages that you leave on your website. When it comes to your website, I've said this so many times, but first impressions are critical. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Now, I went through some of this. There's bits and bobs that we touched on last year in last year's webinar, but some of this stuff is so important and so critical that I need to elaborate on some of it and go over some of the bits that we did last year. It's so important for your website, but you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And that's why your website is the most important page. People are making decisions just by looking at your homepage hero section. So, Henry, quick question for you. I know you've got a bit of a cold there. Sorry to hear that, Henry. Hope you get well soon. But what's the homepage hero section? Where is that on the website homepage?
So just under the navigation, your main navigation, which would be at the top.
Yeah.
So that main image that spreads across your website and the homepage.
Great, perfect. That's it. Hero section. Now, that is the most important part on your homepage. So people are making decisions just by looking at that area. So that's what I want to focus in first of all, because I get a lot of questions from business owners saying, well, they ask me, what do you think of my hero section? They send me loads of website URLs. I'm looking at the hero section. They want me to look at the message at the top, check it's okay. They want to look at the image. So it's clear to me that a lot of business owners aren't confident that they've got this right just yet. So let's try and help you with that. And so the headline is the main bit of text that you'll see in the hero section on your homepage. So I've put a red box around the image there just to indicate what we're talking about here. The hero section is that huge image at the top of the homepage. Like Henry said, just underneath the main navigation menu, usually below the menu. Within 3 seconds, there's a few things that your website needs to do. One of the things it needs to do is tell visitors what the business has to offer. One of the other things is people need to know who you are. So your logo, your business name, people need to know within 3 seconds who you are. Like, what is your company name? Okay, so if that's not clear, then you've obviously got a big problem there. But one of the other things is, like I say, telling people what you have to offer. So what is it that you offer? That needs to come across within 3 seconds. Okay. The third thing would be the benefits of using you. Why would I use you? You know, why would I use you as a business? What makes you different to everyone else? And those 3 things need to come across within 3 seconds. So the company name, what it is you have to offer, and why would I choose you? So the why choose us. Okay, so make sure to write your headline to target your majority audience. So what we're saying there is the headline at the top of your homepage is a critical piece of content. It is an area that makes or breaks people's decision making. And we've talked about this in the past, but what I would recommend is don't just use that big headline text to say, for example, plumbers in Leeds, or clothing in Manchester, women's clothing Manchester, or I don't know, furniture in Durham, whatever. Don't just use your keywords and location in that headline text. Indeed, we used to do that. And I said earlier that we've evolved a lot, even in the last 2 years. Things change, we change, and that's how you stay ahead of the game. But 2 or 3, 4 years ago, we were using keywords in the headline. So even some of the websites that we made 3 years ago would say plumbers in Leeds right on that top of that homepage. That is something I would advise against doing at the very top of your hero homepage. It obviously tells people what you do, but there's no thought behind it. It doesn't make you stand out. Then there's no brand messaging. What is brand messaging? It's basically where you're creative. You know, you're thinking of something creative. For example, this brand message here it's all coming together, and what that does is that encompasses the brand, the service. What do these guys do? It's a little slogan that they've come up with. I am seeing more and more of you do this on your website, which is fantastic. But use that space creatively. Don't just put plumbers in Leeds. The bit underneath, you could indeed start to say plumbers in Leeds, for example. But on that image there, can you just see down in the white area, it says effortlessly stay on top of your bills? Well, use that headline to say plumbers in Leeds. That's where it should start to go into the sort of SEO and who you are. So plumbers Leeds, hotels Birmingham, whatever it may be. That secondary headline would be used for the keywords. But the thing at the top, bit of thinking's needed. Make it clear and simple. So we're going to look at a couple of these. Before I do, I want to dive onto a website example. And this is one that we've done. And let me reload this as well, because you'll see how this comes into play. It's gone a bit slow because I'm obviously presenting a webinar here. But yeah, so you have a look at the hero image here. This is for a skin clinic, obviously. We've obviously made this website, so it's a good example. I'm just focusing in on the headline text here. It says, be yourself, but indefinitely better. It's a tongue twister. View our treatment. So the next bit is view our treatment. So obviously that's going to take you through to a services page looking at treatments. But that headline text is not Skin Clinic London. These guys are in Harley Street, London. So obviously big players, well-known street in London. But they're using that headline text intelligently. So be yourself, etc. And the reason why I'd advise you to do that is because it builds a brand. It starts to build trust and credibility. And those people that just put plumbers Leeds, skincare clinic London, it's just boring, guys. It is just boring. It's not making you stand out from anyone. You're not different to anyone else. So what you want to do is it's all about building a brand, your message, and that's a nice little slogan. You don't have to do this, think of this kind of slogan, but it does start to build a bit of a brand, like I say, a bit of credibility. And then you can use the areas below to talk about, why would I use you? The unique selling points, really clear, just below there. And then you can start to talk about what you do and who you are, etc., etc. Obviously, this is a website I'll look at again, because this is a good one when it comes to design. There's quite a nice looking website here, really nicely laid out. But I will come back to that one later on, because like I say, first impressions, and the first thing we want to look at is the hero section. Keep it clean and simple, but be creative with it. So the headline, I'm going to give you a couple of ideas as to what you could say in this headline text. Try to think about how your service fixes a problem. Okay, so include the solution that fixes the problem. And by that, you could include some benefits as well. Think about those benefits. But when I talk about fixing a problem, if you haven't got a business slogan or brand message, and by the way, that's something that us as a team, as web designers, we would be doing that with you if you were working with us. So I'm saying that because I would expect that if you're working with another website agency or web designer, they should be helping you with this stuff. Obviously, you can do this on your own if you've got that creative spark in you. But if you're struggling to come up with something, think about how your solution fixes the problem and then focusing on that. So, for example, if it was us, InfoServe, and we wanted to write a headline that shows how our solution fixes a problem, maybe what I could say is something like, struggling for time. Are you a business owner struggling for time? I'm just making this. InfoServe can do it all for you without the nonsense, without the jargon. That's just, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Maybe Henry, you can butt in at any point here, chirp in with any kind of ideas. But how your solution fixes the problem. Maybe you're a plumber. And maybe, I think I mentioned this one last year, because I see a lot of kind of female plumbers, and that's a thing now, isn't it? Where, making, people feel a bit safer sometimes going down that avenue. And I think if I was, if I was looking for a plumber and I felt a bit unsure about them coming into the home, maybe I'm a lady on my own or man on my, whatever it may be, but I would be, as a plumber, what you could do is say, safe, secure, Yorkshire's only female plumber. I don't know. You can get where I'm coming from. Use those kind of keywords that bring out the emotions: safe, secure, trusted, and use that in your headline text. So
Matt, just quickly on that. Andrew's got a question that he's put in the chat box. So would you make the headline text H1, or would you save the H1 tags for the text below with keywords?
That's a good question. And yes, you could do that. So you could use the H1 text below for the next headline down. But Andrew, I would also say it's okay if we need to keep the hierarchy in order, it's okay to have that headline as a H1. It is okay. Or because look, SEO these days is obviously still keyword driven, but it's also more going towards experience and just how that website, how engaging it is. Now, if you're coming up with a really good headline like this here, or, the examples I've just shown you, it's far more interesting than, in Andrew's case, I think, and Jewelers, I can't remember the location, but Jewelers Worthing, for example, it's more interesting than seeing a headline like that. So it's more engaging, and you'll see some of the big brands using headlines like this. And this is an example of a clothing brand, but it's a really good example of their H1. This is their main headline. So it's okay to now start thinking creatively with that headline text. It doesn't have to be keyword driven on every single page, because there's going to be other pages you see on your, for example, if you sell engagement rings, on that page, your headline text, yes, the H1 would be engagement rings. That is where you would mention that keyword. But on the homepage hero, think of it as this is where you're selling yourself. This is where you need to look different. You're a brand, your quality, you think about your business, you think about your brand. You haven't just asked a web designer to put a template website together. You've put real effort into the brand. And that's why I showed you this one, because I just think this one is a little bit different. And then look, another example of one we've done here. And that's a kind of a brand message. Whatever issues you're facing, we're on hand to fix them. So this is content that we've written for this brand. Obviously, you've got the unique selling points here just underneath. So it's really clear, really easy, and you've got a really clear call to action here where you can get straight into the journey. So use that message creatively, and no, you don't have to put the keywords in the homepage right at the top. It could be a H1, yes. The other way to do it, though, there is you can just have it as a paragraph text, Andrew. So you can have large paragraph, and then you could have the H1 even above it in smaller writing, or below it in smaller writing. It's okay to mix it up like that, so you can have the main text being paragraph and have the H1 just underneath or just above in that sense. But yeah, include the benefits, like I say. Here's another example. Classic looks, modern engineering. Look, all the brands do it. And so small business and medium-sized businesses should be doing it too. We need to be competing with the big brands, because people are used to seeing these brands, these websites like Amazon, ASOS. We've talked about it before. People are used to seeing this kind of clever thinking and website design. So you've got to compete with these guys. The secondary headline, though, is where you would use that space to talk about what you do and the benefits that, you could even mention about how it fixes certain problems. So it's a brief description of what you do, and you could focus that area on the pain point if you want. There's no right or wrong, guys. There's no right or wrong. You can use the main headline, 4 words, 5 words, for example, and then you could use the secondary headline just to describe what you do, and you can focus on the pain points. Again, here, similar sort of thing, focusing in on the pain points. So don't overthink about whether it needs to be keyword driven, H1, H2. What's more important is that you use this space intelligently and creatively. Let's go to a website that we've not done. And I always go to this website because I've noticed these guys update their homepage hero image every month, their text as well. Every single month they're updating this bit here. And what they've written is a better kitchen doesn't happen by chance, it happens by design. I mean, that's not, I'd say that's a nice little line, but it, you know, as a business owner, I'd expect anyone to be able to come up with something like that. That's not too amazing, but it's a nice piece of text. It's a great headline. It gets these guys standing out from the competition, and yeah, they've got a clear call to action, of course, in that homepage hero image. You sometimes don't even need a call to action, a button. In some cases, you don't need to do that. For example, I think InfoServe, I think what we've done here is we've gone with the kind of a funky kind of brand message here, but there's no button. We haven't gone for a button because we feel like we've got a clear navigation menu. We're going for that navigation menu at the top because that's what most people do, is they'll go to the page that they want to go to. And so at the moment, with it being so clean and simple, we've just stuck with that. We don't want to drive someone down to a specific page per se. But yeah, you've got clear sections underneath. But Magnet, yeah, really good one to keep an eye on. And there's a lot of kitchen designers, kitchen installers in these webinars. So that's a good one to keep an eye on. Let me just go back to the page. Okay, so the hero image is obviously just as important. I am going to go back to some examples, but we need to make it high quality and clean and visual. Most people are visual. So just to go back to those examples I've shown you there, there's some good ones. I'm going to show you another one. Of course, this time I usually show you ones that we haven't done because I don't want to kind of show you websites that we've done. I think it's a bit biased, to be honest with you, but I mean, in the last 24 months, we've been building websites for all sorts of businesses. And we've, you know, like I said, I think we have really got some of the best designers in the UK. And this is one of our websites that we've built in the last 12 months. And it's for an art dealer. So a little bit of, you know, a change there in the kind of vertical industry we're working with. But, you know, it's all about the image on this one. It's that clean, and this is a piece of art, clean modern image, and you've got the text, the headline text, just down here on the left hand side. And we've followed a similar kind of look with an architect that we've just been working with, and this is it. So we've got this architect that we've been working with, and we've gone for a similar kind of thing. We're actually just building this out now, so the text just down here will become bigger, and this will get a full, you know, description going on. But it's all about the imagery, and then you can view the project. But yeah, it's like, it's the image which is so important, and you've got to make sure it's high res. Make sure you pick those images carefully. So, you know, for us, for example, I've got all my links going on here for work. So for us, we go and use Adobe, and you can see I've been looking at, let's go elderly lady. That's a good one. So I was looking for a picture of an elderly lady for a broadband company, because they were working with rural people out, you know, in the middle of nowhere, and typically that's a sort of older audience, and we also care home as well. We work a lot with care homes. And what I would do is, let me type in skincare as well, because that's one we were just looking at. What we would do is we go for all of these images and pick a really good, suitable image. So that kind of, you know, nothing too, it depends on the brand. You've got to be careful. Don't be careful not to pick what I would say, a cheesy image. If you're a bit more of a classy, high-end brand, you know, you wouldn't want to be choosing an image like this, for example. So pick your images carefully, but use a stock library, like what we do here. So we use Adobe stock. It's, if you haven't got any great photos, a stock image is okay, but just be careful what kind of image you pick. Maybe avoid people looking at the camera, because that can be a bit cheesy, a bit too full on, a bit too fake. So maybe try and pick someone just, doing their work or whatever it is, or, getting on with their life, but not looking directly at the camera. That's just a bit of a tip when it comes to stock imagery. And that's if you haven't got any great photos of your own. Okay. So a couple of things here, just to kind of summarize. I want to summarize this hero image thing. I want to talk to you about carousels. So basically, they are a big no-no when it comes to website design these days. Again, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we would have done this, where the hero image at the top is changing and the text on that hero image is changing alongside it as well. If you do that, you then have too many messages going on and people miss the key message. So too many messages equals no message. Remember what I said, you want to get a clean, clear message across within 3 seconds. If you've got a carousel going around with different images and text and it just goes through every 3 to 5 seconds, well, it doesn't hit home as well as one image and one piece of text. The human eye reacts to movement and it will miss the important stuff. So there's been a bit of research done on all of this. You can see that but you've got all these different banners, these different positions going around. Well, the other ones, apart from the first one, all the others are just a waste of space. The click-through rates are poor, the content's not consumed, the message doesn't hit home. So why have all those sliding images and text going on? And I want to be careful what I say here, because what I don't mean is, you see this website, the image is changing in the background. That's okay. That's absolutely, in fact, that's brilliant, because it makes it look like nice and fresh, nice and interesting. The text is staying the same. If you had a website where the text is changing, and I've seen many websites do this, then that is something to try and avoid, because, like I say, people are missing that important content. So carousels, I would say not to use them. I don't know if Henry was trying to come in there or anything, but yeah, Henry, do interrupt me if you've got anything or want to suggest or any ideas. Don't worry about interrupting me. The CTA, the call to action, is we've talked about this already, and this is the button that's on the hero image of the homepage, and it's the goal. Okay. So what you're trying to do is make people dig deeper into your website. And so, do you want to use a sign up button? Do you want them to learn more about your services? Do you want them to go through to your about page? Maybe you're a brand that has sustainable, green, environmental friendly service products, etc., etc. So maybe you need to highlight that before anything else, because that's your main selling point. It depends on where you want them to go. I mean, obviously, this is Uber that we're looking at, and what they do is they want people to sign up. So they don't need people to explore through their website. They're looking for one thing, and it's for people just to sign up within a few seconds. But think carefully as to where you want people to go. I sometimes see these buttons getting used poorly, in terms of you've got the homepage hero image, and then you've got a button saying contact us in the homepage hero image. What you're saying there is you're just getting people to look at the top of the website and then they're immediately going to the contact page. That's not a journey. That's not someone going through a funnel. Think of it as a funnel. What kind of journey do you want people to go on? Do you want them to see, like I say, your services first, about page, meet the team, etc., etc.? Think about that journey. You don't have to necessarily send people straight to the contact page. Again, I'd say, we've adapted to that kind of thinking in the last year or so. And indeed, if we'd built a website 2-3 years ago, we would have been getting people to go to the contact page to sign up, because that was really what was the trend in website design. I think, given all the data we collect and all the insights we have and, the talent, I think we've adapted, we've changed the way we think, because we know that people need to go sometimes through a funnel, a journey, but it depends on the business. Like I say, Uber just want people to sign up. So that's okay. If you just want them to make an appointment, go for it. Try it for free, make an appointment. Going back to this one, we send people on this one to the treatments. Let's just go and click that. And yeah, so what that did is it just jumped down the page on the homepage, and it goes to the treatments. And then you can click on any of these. You've got this sticky box on the right, and then you've got the treatments here, and you can click on any of them. and you would go straight through the treatments. Obviously, you've got a menu here. It's a really nicely designed menu, and then you can go to the treatments within that menu as well. But you can see there's absolutely tons of treatments. So this menu's been built slightly bespoke for this particular type of business. But yeah, that's what we've done with that one. Obviously, on this property one that I showed you, they want to get inquiries immediately. So everything you need, someone's seen an ad, for example, everything they need to know is right here. Sell your problem property for instant relief. Guaranteed completion, speedy sale, moving dates to suit you, etc. Yeah, and they've got the reviews there. Get an offer, and it obviously goes to a contact form.
Matt,
it depends on what you're trying to achieve.
Matt, just on that, and sorry about the previous noise. The coffee machine decided to make a noise. But Jen has said, should you be reviewing websites in a mobile view, as most people use mobiles now?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and I'm just about to do that. So you obviously know what's coming. So very, very good question. So we're going to be looking at that in a second. It depends on the business. Obviously, a lot of people use for something like an architect, for example, it would be desktop primarily. Most of the traffic. For an art dealer, in fact, it's desktop as well. You know, we find that iMac, for example, is a massive proportion of the traffic. Don't know why. Maybe it's a more affluent audience sitting at home. People are working from home. Remember, and people have bought big iMacs and nice laptops. And I don't know if you know, but MacBook sales are up more than ever. They're getting this one of the biggest year ever for MacBook sales, which is typically a 13-inch laptop. And that's because people are at home. People are splashing out on these luxuries. And so I would be careful not just to assume that mobile gets most of the traffic, but it is so important, obviously, mobile, especially for a plumber. If you're a plumber, most people are going to be on mobile, definitely. So we're just looking at the button here, and in fact, there's a mobile view here, and that primary CTA, we call it the primary CTA, the thing that goes in the hero section. Make sure, and in answer to, is it Jen there? Sorry, Henry, I didn't catch your name. I think it's Jen.
Yes, yeah. I think it's Jen. Correct as if we're pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah. Do so, yeah. But make sure it's easy to press with your finger. Make sure you've got enough space around it, or make sure there's no other clickable buttons near it, because people can click the wrong thing by mistake. We're sometimes not great with our thumbs, so make sure it's easy to press. Lots of white space around that mobile button. In fact, I'd say that image there is probably not the best image to use. Don't know why we use that one, but you'd probably want a bit more space around the button. Maybe I'm showing you how not to do it on that image. Let's say that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to mobile because I've got some critical bits to go through on mobile in a second. We're pressing on for time. The result of your product and service is what we call the benefit. So make sure that you're using all of this space, like I said earlier, to tell people about the result of your product and service. What happens when someone uses your product or service? So it's not what it does. So what it does is the feature, focusing on what is the result of it. And obviously we talked about this a lot last year, but there's a lot of new people in this webinar. So I'm just trying to adapt this for the new and the regulars. And it's so important to highlight the result of what you do, if that makes sense. So another way to think of it is WIFM. What's in it for me? Think about WIFM whenever you're writing content. Always try to explain the WIFM, as in what would that visitor, what are they going to think when they're reading your content? They just want to know what's in it for me. What is the result? What is the benefit? And so these guys, this image on the right hand side, you might not be able to see it. It's okay if you can't see it, but it basically has bullet points just below the hero section. And obviously this is where you elaborate on the benefits. And what they've written here is all about staying on top of bills. This is a money billing management software. And it says, see bills and money in one place, get alerts, say goodbye to late fees, stop logging into multiple sites, deliver payments fast. So there's some clear benefits within there. I should have just clicked that, because there you can see it now. So there we go. That was, if you're watching this on recording, go ahead and pause that and have a little look. And then have a little look at this example here, which I'm showing you, which, like I say, shows you clear benefits throughout the homepage in different sections. So I'll just go back there. You can see you've got different sections highlighting the benefits. So this is all about the homepage of your website. Whoops, I went too far there. Okay, when it comes to mobile, as Jen said, it's super important that you do consider mobile. And it's important to display a clear benefit above the fold. Henry, what do I mean by above the fold?
So above, before you start scrolling, basically,
that's it.
The fold is everything that you can see before you start scrolling down the page.
That's it, exactly. And that's the thing that people make their decisions on, is those first 3 seconds, remember? So it's top of the homepage, especially on desktop, it's usually that hero section. On mobile, you might be able to see a bit more than the hero section, but it's above the fold where you need to make sure you display clear benefits to your product or service, okay? And show the categories as well, if you can. So this is above the fold. Show the top categories. And so this is quite a tricky one. Obviously, you need to maybe shift around with the space, but I've given some examples of some brands here. Some of them we know, say, for example, Boots. They've got mother and baby, electrical offers. And then on the right-hand side, I've got Victorian Plumbing. They've got a hero image, and it says half price sale, very clear. And then underneath that hero image, they've got their categories. And this is something that we could do. And at this point, I'd be happy just, if anyone's put the URL website address into the chat, I'd be happy to just see if anyone's got this on their own website, where you can see the categories and the benefits. Henry, have you got any URLs or?
No one's put any in at the moment. Everyone's shy today again.
Thought now. Well, this is the benefit of being in the webinar, guys. If you're watching this on recording, thank you. But join us next Wednesday and ask me about this. Get me to check your website, because apart from these webinars, we're always so busy that we might not have a chance to do this kind of thing throughout the week. So take this opportunity to put your URL into the chat, and I'll check your mobile website for these 2 things, and give you some advice maybe as to how to shift them around. What to say to your web developer even, happy to help as much as we can. So join us live and you can get these kind of checks. But there's the categories, super important that they're above the fold if you can. Obviously, it's not a disaster if you can't do this, but this is our recommendation for, like I say, increasing sales and bookings. This stuff really does make a massive difference when it comes to bookings. And not only that, but it'll get you those bookings ahead of your competition. We're not telling your competition this stuff, and your competition aren't sometimes acting on this kind of information. So doing this will get you ahead of that critical goal of being ahead of your competition, like I say. So whether it's on mobile or desktop, show the categories at the top. And I just want to focus in quickly on that navigation menu as well, because a lot of people ask us about that menu and how they should design it. Well, make it simple, make it intuitive, and guys, make sure that you don't put too many pages into the menu. So I would recommend, how many have we got here? I would actually recommend 7 pages in the menu at most. Maybe 8 if we really had to, but 7 would be a good number for the number of pages in a menu. I think there's more than 7 here, 8 actually. So maybe that's 1 too many in this image. You don't need a blog. I can see that there's a blog in that. You don't need that to be in the main menu. Have that blog link in your footer, or you can have it as a section on the homepage lower down. But 7 pages in the menu. If you have more than 7 pages, then that's when you need a good designer. So, this company here has 5 pages in the menu. They've got obviously sub pages going on there. So that's a good way of kind of shifting things around. Why choose us is in the case studies, etc., etc. If you've got more than 7 pages, remember this one had, it's got absolutely tons. There's 10 there, and there's a lot more here going on, and there's obviously conditions as well. And so yeah, make sure to use a better design. So you've got the side menu that you could go for here, and we did the same with the architect, but actually they don't have more than 7 pages. Just that this side menu is really, really cool, and for an architect, it works really nicely. So, so yeah, if you know, in some cases, you might not want to have more. Have your menu in at the top of the homepage. You could have it in a side nav sometimes, so that's okay. So yeah, it's make it simple, intuitive, and fewer than 7 pages. Cool. And I mentioned about obviously the consolidated menu on mobile. You'll always have that consolidated menu. Some people call it the hamburger menu. What I would start to talk about now is the search box. If you've got a relatively large website, or you've got important information on your website, a search function. I've mentioned that before. Make sure you have a search function on your website, especially on mobile. I'm going to come to that in a minute. If you have a physical store, include so if you've got a physical shop, put that in the put the locator icon in the header or the menu, so people can quickly find where you are. So like a pin, a locator, so people know where your shop is. Because one of the most frustrating things on mobile, especially e-commerce, is when they've got a physical store, but where is that? It's so difficult to find that on the website. So make sure you've got a locator pin. A floating menu on mobile that sticks is really useful, and it improves conversion rates. So when you're scrolling on your mobile phone, you want that menu to float down as you're scrolling, so it's sticking. People that search, so if you've got a search box, I mentioned a search box just then. If you've got a search box, users that search are 200% more likely to convert into a inquiry, sale, booking. 200% more likely to convert if you've got a search box. I'm going to just leave that there. I've talked about search boxes so many times now, though. So actually, there's one other thing I wanted to say. Changing that search placement as well. So what this company did, I think they're called List. I don't know, Henry, you know how to pronounce it either. List, I think. And what they did is they had a search magnifying icon, and they changed it, replacing the search icon with a search box. Improved conversion rates, increased usage on 43% on desktop and 13% on mobile. So people started to use the website more, basically. So people were giving up on the website, well, not to the extent where they were losing lots of bookings, but what this company did is they put a search box, and it actually increased the usage by 43% on desktop and 13% on mobile. So that's an incredible stat that indicates how important search boxes are, and even how the design of those search boxes can impact engagement. So yeah, another one to look out for when it comes to your homepage, and this is just critical requirements. Remember, these are critical requirements for your homepage. These are not things that you could do. We're sort of saying, yeah, we would advise everyone to have these elements on their homepage, everyone. And another one is instant answers through chat box. Make it easy for people. Have a chat function. So, at the bottom right of websites, you get those chat, live chat kind of widgets. Get one of those, because people want instant answers. Make it easy for people. Doesn't matter how big or small you are. You can link these live chat widgets up to your phone, up to things like WhatsApp, etc. So yeah, you can make it really easy for messages to come through on your mobile phone. Whether you're out and about working, you'll get those messages on your mobile phone. It's not scary. It's really easy. It's just like WhatsApping someone, So get a live chat on your website. And I'm kind of going quicker now, because some really important bits I wanted to highlight before if I check any more websites. But I wanted to say about forms and how forms should be designed, because a poorly designed form can lead to, well, I know for a fact it leads to a decrease in conversions. We've tested it, and Google obviously have tested it a lot, and have got all the data, and they feed us that information and those insights. And so what they tell us is a few things. They gave us some examples. For example, Expedia learned that they were losing $12 million a year because of one irrelevant form field box. They were losing $12 million a year in profits, I should have said, because of one field box that wasn't needed. Now, shrink that down to an SMB, and I see it all the time where you've got, for example, a phone number box. So you're asking people for their phone number. You've got to question, what do you really need their phone number? That's a question I would ask yourself. Is that absolutely critical? Only have fields in your form that are critical, absolutely required. And so we did the same on some of our form fields. We thought, you know what, especially for the webinar, we don't need a phone number. We're not going to ring. We're not going to call you. We're not going to go through all of our people that are signed and just make these calls. We don't want to do that. It's obviously nice if we had your phone number. Every business wants data, don't they? And then maybe one day we could phone you, but we don't want to do that. We didn't do that, and so we left it off. And so all we need is the email and name. And if you can get away with just having email and name, go for it. Or whatever it may be but get away from unnecessary fields in your form. So, for example, here's a good form. It's just got full name, email. Keep it simple. Maximum 3 to 4 fields. The fewer the fields, the more the conversions. So absolutely critical. And a single column beats multi-column forms. So multi-column form would be where you've got, say, for example, the field is name, and then next to that you've got email, and then phone number, and then service interested. So it's next to each other. So it's 2 columns. Try to have it in 1 column. So it's just vertical, basically. So like this one here, it's got full name and email. And that's why, and I was saying, don't ask people for phone numbers, because it can lose trust as well. Why are they asking me for my phone number? Do you want to give your phone number to a business that you don't really know? I don't, a lot of people are the same. They don't want to put their mobile phone number, landline number, or whatever into that form. So be careful of that one. But what I would say in summary is, try to keep as fewer fields as you can, reduce those fields, whatever it is you're taking out, just try to keep it minimal. And so only ask for that phone number unless there's a legitimate reason for it. Email is always better. People are more willing to give their email address out. Let's face it, we get loads of spam. All of us get spam all the time. So we can dish our email out. It's okay. But phone numbers are a bit iffy. Another way if you've got quite a long form, a complex form with multiple fields, another way to kind of address that problem is to have a step form. So a multiple step form is a long form that's broken into multiple pieces. So we've all seen it where, it's step 1, name, and then it'll say the stages above the form. It'll give you the stages that you're going through. Those stages are really important to have in there as well, because it shows the visitor what's next, and it gives a bit of reassurance and trust. Trust and reassurance, remember, is the key to getting bookings and conversion. So a long form can be broken into a multi-step form, and you can even have, like I say, a journey, what's coming next, basically. It does increase conversions. Another great example is, I think this is the last example, but Betting Expert tweaked the form on their headline and their button text. And when they did that, it led to a 33% increase in membership signups. And so all they did is they looked at the headline. So the headline previously said, join Betting Expert, and the button said, sign up. And they changed that to get free betting tips and sign up to get the best daily tips. And they saw a 33% increase in signups. And so the original, like I say, was sign up, and they tested this new one, sign up and get the best daily tips. And obviously the headline matched the button. So a big tip from me is make sure that form headline matches the button. So one thing these guys messed up on actually is where on the original form it says join Betting Expert in the headline, and the button says sign up. That's 2 completely different words. So you want to have the same terminology in the headline and on the button. So in the headline, what they changed it to was obviously to get the free betting tips, and then they actually included that in the button, get the best tips basically. So that's why that increased conversion. So match the form headline to the button. So another example would be sign up today is the form headline. Sign up today. And you've got the fields, and then you've got the button saying sign up or sign up now. You know, as long as it's got some matching words, and you can see the example, they made a mistake of not matching the words on their original contact form.
Yeah, just to jump in there, Matt, I think we've got a few more minutes. So Kate has actually sent in her website, if you wanted to quickly go through that.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that. And just before I leap onto the website today, I just wanted to highlight that make sure that your forms are easy to type when it comes to mobile, because typing on mobile is hard. We all know this. So just one last thing is that 27% of people abandon orders or forms. You know, so for SMB, it's just typically going to be a form due to it being too long, too complicated, or the form not being easy to fill out on a mobile phone. So have you all tested your forms on mobile phone? Have you gone onto your website, gone onto the form and tested it? So for me, when someone does ask for my phone number on a form, I tell you what really puts me off. Henry, I don't know if you've had this experience as well. Think back. But when someone asks for my mobile phone, they've just asked for my email, so I've typed in my email into the field, and you can sometimes click enter and it just goes to the next, jumps to the next field. That's great if it just jumps to the next field automatically. But when it's asking for a phone number, I'm on the letter keypad on my phone, so I can just, you know, I have to actually physically switch the keyboard to the number keyboard, or I have to go to type in. What works really well is when the form is a phone number field and it automatically switches your keypad on your phone to the number. You know, when you're dialing a telephone number on your phone, it's 077 da 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 da. Well, those little tricks make big differences, big improvements in conversions. So go onto your form on your mobile, and if you've got a phone field, if you do have to have a phone number field, just see if your field, when you go onto that field, does it switch your keyboard on your mobile to the numeric keyboard, or does it stay on the letters, obviously? So that's something that frustrates me. I don't know about you, Henry, but yeah, I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, completely agree.
So what was the URL? Sorry, Henry.
So it's, let me see, she sent it privately. So flowersandcakes.co.uk. Flowers and Cakes.
Actually, I'm going to have to type it in here then. flowersandcakes.co.uk. Is that correct, Henry? flowersandcakes.co.uk.
Yeah, that's the one.
Brill. That's a good. It's quite a good website address, which is why I was surprised that would be it. Okay, so this is a good one to check. So thank you for giving your website address. First things first, it's a pop-up, obviously. So I've seen this pop-up come up. Free wax melts looks really good. Actually, looks really nice. Use promotion code surprise at the checkout. Grab your feed. That's really good. And that's quite a nice little pop-up, actually, with a nice offer. If you didn't want to have a pop-up, because pop-ups can put people off, obviously people can be a bit, actually one good thing as well is I can click onto anywhere on the page and it just disappears. So that's a nice little feature there. But if you didn't want to have a pop-up, you could have a little bar at the top of your homepage with the offer coming up in a bar. I don't know if you know when you go into Amazon, sometimes it says free delivery. ASOS, Henry gave the example of ASOS the other week, which was a good one. Or ASOS, is it? I don't know. But there was a bar that came up, I think. There's no pop-ups. I don't think. There we go. There's that section there, just this discrete kind of purple thing. And it says up to 70% off. And that's where they place their offers. And it just avoids the old pop-up. Let me go back to your website, sorry. So that's one way of doing it. Another thing, I'm going to refresh this because I've noticed that the text almost looks like it's cut off. Just the top of the hero section here. Maybe something's gone wrong here a little bit. There's no space above. You need to let things breathe a little bit. So this text, this Header here needs to be pulled down a bit on your homepage hero section. But I really like the image. The image is high resolution, really nice image. So 10 out of 10 for the image. But the text itself, I think, you know, it looks like you've got a great bit, and I'm really liking this, by the way. It looks like you sell some beautiful products. You could use this text a little bit more creatively, this space here. So actually, you do have love from your heart. I quite like that little slogan you've got on your logo. Really nice. I wonder if there's more you could do with that. Or you could even use this text here, which is really hard to read, by the way. It's too small. I'm not a fan of kind of writing italics like this. I don't know if you've got that anywhere else in your website. It doesn't look like you're using that font anywhere else. I might be wrong. I know your logo is that, but I just think that just slightly cheapens it a little bit, just that type of font there. So, but at the very least, it's just too small, so I can't read that. I think I've got the actual size view here. So you could use this in the main heading. So the best gifts for your loved ones. You could use that here. Welcome to Flowers and Cakes it's almost a bit of a waste of space, and so I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what you could say there is best gifts, or you could say flowers and the best flowers and cakes for your loved ones. Flowers and cakes with love from your heart. You know, I'm just thinking off the cuff here, but you could really use this space a little bit better. I like the fact you've got this shop now button. Let me just see where that goes. It's going to go to the shop, which is great. So, okay. So the homepage has got loads of potential. You really are getting there. I like the way you've used the kind of transparency effect as well. That's very nice. You've got a very clear, clean section at the top here. This is well designed, so no problems there. And then you've got obviously your products on the homepage, which is, I would always recommend having the products there as well. Okay, so you've got a little bit of a contact form going on there, and a bit of message, bit of too much space here. I don't know if there's something missing, but there's way too much space. So you need to reduce that because it just makes the website start to look a bit, you know, well, is it trustworthy? Are people going to look at that and go, what's going on here? Little things like that in terms of design can put people off and make people lose trust. So just be aware of those kind of design elements. Just look for your website and look for errors like this, and keep on top of it every month as well, because these things can just suddenly pop up out of nowhere. I know it, you know, it happens to everyone, so don't worry. It's absolutely normal, but easily fixed, I would say. I wanted to just go to the shop and just show you something. Now, just looking at the shop here, I'd recommend having some content just at the top. And the reason why I put some content is not something I've mentioned today, but it's for SEO. Let me just see if you have got any content on a product. Having a bit of content really does help with search engine optimization. But on the shop itself, I would just like to see a little bit more content. Maybe you could talk about the benefits again. You know, let me just go back to this one here and show you an example. Maybe you can have like 3 or 4 kind of bullet points just at the top there, nice discrete bullet points. Let me show you a landing page I did for a similar situation. Let me just do digital marketing. Oh my god, on the spot. The skin. Anyway, here we go. Skincare marketing. That's the one. Let me show you. So we did a landing page to promote that skincare. We do websites for skincare clinics and all sorts, but skincare is one of our kind of highlights when it comes to web design. So what we did is go for clear, you know, headline text there with the benefits. I just want to go down to something here. This kind of use of bullet points and benefits. Maybe that's something you could do here. Nice kind of 4 bullet points, 4 little things at the top of the page there. If that makes sense. I hope I'm making sense here. But one thing I've noticed missing, I think, was the reviews. So make sure you've got your reviews as well at the bottom of this page, because people are looking for decision-making, social proofing. And I was just about to say on the next slide is that you need that indicator of trust. People need to hear and see from other people. So make sure you've got reviews on this page and on the homepage. I don't think there was anything on the homepage for reviews. I might be wrong, but yeah, make sure to have those on the homepage. Maybe they were there, maybe they've disappeared, but that would be a really good space to have customer reviews. That's what you need on this website, because obviously you're looking to for people to buy online and put their credit card details into your website. So you need to build trust. What I would just do before we exit this, I would just go into a mobile responsive view. So you've got welcome to Flowers and Care. So it actually looks better on mobile. So that is good. It is looking good on mobile. So well done on that. There's no search. I don't think there's a search function, and it says blank page in your menu. So watch out for things like this, because this is really going to put people off when it comes to buy, especially for your type of business. This is a really good one. I actually enjoy looking at these ones, and I could we could talk about this one for half an hour. And I think Henry would have loads to say on this one. Henry's, what he does outside of webinars is review websites, audit websites. So if you would like Henry to look at this one, and I'll help Henry out as well, just drop us a message, go to our website, fill out a form and say, can I speak to Henry? And we'll give you a call. But I think there's a lot we'd like to say about this. I mean, there's you've got your products there, the categories, it's really good. I don't know if you should maybe kind of highlight the categories as well. You could have maybe a search function for the categories. Again, there's no reviews on mobile. The form is good, though. The form looks really strong on mobile. So well done on that one. I just think it needs a bit more trust, social proofing, etc., a bit of work on the text, and a little bit more content, just padding out a little bit. So yeah, I don't know if that helps at all. But Henry, good one. That's a good one. I think, we would love to speak to you and help you out a little bit more on that one. And it's 12 o'clock. If you need us to help you, or if you would love to get a website from InfoServe, I never normally talk about us and what we do, because I don't want to put this out there into everyone's faces. And we do but we love doing web design, and we would love to build a website for any of you. If you need any further help, or if you'd love to use us for your website needs, then we're here and we're great. And we've got some amazing, talented designers, and we combine our websites with conversion rate optimization, CRO, that is, and SEO, which is search engine optimization. So it's like everything all in one. So we're here if you need us for website design, or if you just need some free advice and support. If you'd like Henry to go over your website, that's what he does. He audits websites, he audits search marketing, social, everything. Just reach out, give him a call, 0800 089 0879, or go to our website, fill out a form, jump onto the webinar page. We're here, it's free, we're here to help, we're not looking for anything in return. So do reach out to us, and please don't think we're going to try and pitch you products and things like that. Henry just wants to help and give advice. That's literally what we're paying him for. So use him, reach out to him if you need that extra support. And that wraps up the webinar for today. There's absolutely tons of content. I'm absolutely knackered from that one, because I'm so much information thrown into that one. Maybe a little bit too much, Henry. My fault.
No, it was good. It was good. Very good.
Good. Getting too excited on this one, guys, but some critical information there. I hope it's been useful, and I'm sure you've taken one or two things away from this one, even if it's just your form, your call to action, your hero image, the hero text, what to make that look like, how to lay it out, what to have a look and do on your mobile phone view, some critical requirements there. And next week we will be getting someone else into the webinar as a special guest. So join us next Wednesday at 11 a.m. for more small business support, free advice. And that's it, Henry. So I'm just going to exit and say goodbye. Henry, do you want any closing comments?
Well, no, thanks, guys. Thanks for everybody who's joined again. And obviously, hello to all the newcomers. I hope it was useful. I did put the poll up. So we'll review that afterwards in terms of when people want the webinars to continue. And then if anything changes, then we'll obviously let you know. But yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Great stuff. And yeah, we'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks, Henry, for your help.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Matt.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.